Let's start. Today's topic is life processes in living organisms. Now, what is reproduction? Formation of new organism of same species by earlier existing organism is called as reproduction. Formation of a new organism of the same type, that is same species, by earlier existing organism is called as reproduction. Now, reproduction is one of the most important character of a living organism. It's also one of the various reasons responsible of evolution of each species. Now, what is evolution of each species? After one generation, there's another generation of species. Then the next generation comes in. That's evolution, going from one generation to the next. Now, reproduction, as I said, is an important character of a living organism. It's also one of the various important reasons responsible for evolution of each species. Now, in living organisms, reproduction occurs by two methods. What are they? They are sexual and asexual reproduction. Okay, two methods, sexual and asexual reproduction. Now, what is asexual reproduction? Process of formation of a new organism, right? By an organism of the same species without involvement of gametes is called as asexual reproduction. I'll repeat. Process of formation of a new organism by an existing organism of the same species or same type without involving gametes is called as asexual reproduction. Now, this reproduction does not involve two different gametes. For asexual reproduction, you need only one type of gamete. And then the new organism that is produced has the same genetic similarity with the reproducing organism. Now, this reproduction, I'll repeat, does not have involvement of another gametes. That is, it does not involve the union of two different gametes. And this new organism has the same genetic similarity as its parent organism. That is the reproducing organism. Now, this new organism that is formed has only one parent. So, this is a uniparental reproduction. And this process is occur by mitotic cell division. Okay, mitotic cell division. Remember the points, okay? And then absence of genetic recombination is a drawback. Whereas fast process is an advantage of this reproductive method. In this reproductive method, the process is fast. That is why this is an advantage. And then absence of genetic recombination is not possible. So next, how does asexual reproduction take place in a unicellular organism? Binary fission, multiple fission, and budding. So there are three types in which asexual reproduction takes place in unicellular organisms. Those are binary fission, multiple fission, and budding. Now, what is binary fission? Over here in this diagram, if you see, this is a cell. A cell has cytoplasm, nucleus, and a cyst. Cyst is the protective head. Nucleus is the center of the cell, main of the cell. And then by multiple fission, many daughter cells are produced. And you can see in figure B. By multiple fission, many daughter cells are produced. And then these daughter cells come out when the cyst breaks. And in that way, the daughter cells come out and they form different independent organisms. I hope you all have understood reproduction by multiple fission. Next, we go to binary fission. Now in binary fission, there is a parent cell which has a nucleus. Now here we have taken an example of an amoeba. In an amoeba, the nucleus will elongate, that is, it will expand. And then there will be a development of a groove. So if suppose this is the cell, it will expand, then something like this happens, development of a groove. Then both of them get separated. And this separation is in the nucleus. That's why it says division of a nucleus and cytoplasm. And then these are two daughter cells that are formed. Parent amoeba, elongation of the nucleus, development of the groove, division of the nucleus and cytoplasm, and then two daughter cells are formed. Okay, so this is how binary fission occurs. I hope multiple fission and binary fission you have understood. Okay, so now what is binary fission? In binary fission, there are two daughter cells formed. We saw it, two cells forming out like this. And this is formed by the splitting of the parent cell or nucleus. Okay, splitting of the parent cell or nucleus. And then this can occur only when the conditions are favorable for the nucleus to get separated. The nucleus divides only once. So the cell division happens only once. Now both the nucleus and cytoplasm are divided simultaneously. It's not that first the nucleus and then cytoplasm. No, that's not how it occurs. The nucleus and the cytoplasm are divided at the same time, simultaneously. And this is a definite pattern of division. If it is binary fission, it has to occur only in this method. There is no other method that binary fission can occur. And then you have examples of binary fission as amoeba, bacteria, euglena, and many more, unicellular organisms. Okay, binary fission. Next, we go to multiple fission. Now, in multiple fission, as we saw, many daughter cells were formed. Okay, and that was happening because of the splitting of the parent cell or nucleus. So in the nucleus, there were a lot of daughter cells that were formed, and those daughter cells came out and they split and they were formed. And then this can occur during any unfavorable conditions also. And then in a multiple fission process, the division is repeated. It's not only once as in binary fission. In multiple fission, the division is repeated. First, we saw that the nucleus is divided and then it is surrounded by the cytoplasm. And then this method of multiple fission is not having a specific or a definite pattern. It does not have a definite pattern. Okay. Now, example of multiple fissions are plasmodium, sporozoans, and algae, and another, the other types of these bacteria. Now, what is budding? Budding is usually seen in yeast. Budding is the asexual reproductive process in which a small bulge or a bud appears on the surface of a parent cell, as seen in unicellular yeast. Now, what is budding in yeast? I'll repeat. Budding is the asexual reproductive process in which a small bulge or bud appears on the surface of a parent cell, as seen in unicellular yeast. Budding in hydra. Budding in hydra is another asexual reproductive process in which the outgrowth is formed by repeated division of regenerative cells of body wall. What is regenerative cells? Cells are generating again and again. And then what is repeated division? Getting divided again and again. So in Hydra, it's a process in which outgrowth is formed when the division happens again and again of the division of the regenerative cells of our body wall, of the body wall of the Hydra. You see this diagram, this should help you, right? Budding in yeast, there is a nucleus and there is a vacuole. By the process of mitosis, a bud is formed, and here two daughter nuclei are formed. This is your bud. Now, movement of nucleus into the bud. One nucleus is here, there is one daughter nuclei is here, and one daughter nuclei is gone into the bud of the formed cell. So now this bud becomes a bud with nucleus. So this gets separated then, where this is the parent yeast and this is the daughter yeast. Now we'll talk about asexual reproduction in multicellular organisms. How does asexual reproduction take place in multiple organisms? Asexual reproduction takes place by fragmentation, regeneration, budding, vegetative propagation, spore formation. Asexual reproduction in multicellular organisms takes place by fragmentation, regeneration, budding, vegetative propagation, and spore formation. Now, what is fragmentation? Fragmentation is the asexual type of reproduction in which the body of the parent organism breaks into many fragments. Fragments is basically small parts. So over here, if you see in Spirogyra, this is a parent cell or parent organism. Because of the process of fragmentation, it is divided into parts. One, this breaks, it will become two. Here it's in two parts. If again this breaks, it will become three, like that. And it goes on. Again, I'll repeat in textual terms. Fragmentation is the asexual type of reproduction in which the body of the parent organism breaks into many fragments. Now, each fragment, after it is coming out, can start living independently. Next is regeneration. What is regeneration? Regeneration is the asexual reproduction in things like planaria, in organisms like planaria, in which the body is broken into two parts and the resulting parts regenerate the remaining part. Now see over here, if this is a full organism, here you have full organism, but before this came, there were two parts. One was this part and then other was the head and the remaining body part. So they regenerate and form a whole organism. If only you have the head, this only head will regenerate the remaining part of the body and a new organism is formed. If only this part of the body is there, this also has the ability to regenerate and form a new organism. If only this part is there, this part also has the ability to regenerate and form a new organism. So regeneration is the asexual reproduction in planaria in which the body is broken up into two parts. The resulting each part regenerates the remaining part of the body. Now, what is vegetative propagation? Vegetative propagation is a type of asexual reproduction. Again, we know that in plants. And that takes place with the help of a vegetative part like a root, a stem, a leaf, or a bud. Here you see this part of the plant is regenerating, or what do you say, is reproducing another plant. So it takes part with the help of root, the stem of the plant, or the leaf, or the bud of the plant. What is spore formation? Spore formation is usually seen in fungi like a mucor that have a filamentous body. You see this diagram over here? I hope you all can see this diagram. So in this diagram is a diagram of a sporangia. Now, of a mucor. This diagram has a sporangia, has hyphae, has spores inside the sporangia. Okay. And then when the spores are usually, when they are formed, the sporangia bursts. And when it bursts, all the spores that's inside the sporangia, it comes out. Like how we saw in the other methods. Yeah. So here, this is a photo of the bursting of a sporangia. When this bursts, through this opening, all the spores come out. And then those spores are called as dispersing spores. Now they have sporangia. Once the spores are formed, sporangia is burst and spores are released. Spores germinate in moist and warm place, and a new fungal colony is formed. These spores germinate in a moist place, in a warm place. And then with the help of those spores, new fungal colony, that is a new organism or a new fungus is formed. I hope you all have understood today's topics. If you all have any doubts, please let us know on any of the given numbers, okay? Thank you.